Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. I just got back from New York, New Jersey earlier on this week, and the weather is vastly different. It's so interesting. So even if you're thinking about moving to Florida or the Villages for the season, for wintertime, for January, February, March, which is we do property management here, so we get a lot of people that are renting during that time. And we're also getting a lot of people that are buying right now. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about what can you buy for under 400,000. We're going to look at that today. We're going to look at some of the statistics on MLS, what's happening in the Villages right now. If you don't know me, I'm Glenn Stein. I'm the broker owner of Realty Executives in the Villages and in Ocala, located on 466 across from Laurel Manor, and also in Ocala on Silver Springs Boulevard. Let's take a look at what is going on in the marketplace. So, if you look at how many properties there are right now, there are 173 properties that are going to be between 200 and 400,000. So we're going to look at that in a minute. But backtrack a little bit. 55 new listings over the last 7 days. 55 new listings. We've had 63 price decreases. That's been really consistent over the last year. More price reductions, more properties coming on the market. But we've also had, on the flip side, a pretty strong last 7 days, which is 45 under contract, meaning 45 different parties decided in the last 7 days, you know what, we're going to put in an offer, and they came to the meeting of the minds and under contract. So they're moving, either they're coming from somewhere else or they're upsizing, downsizing within the Villages. But 45 different properties went under contract the last 7 days. That's a pretty good number. That's not a great number. I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, I'm jumping up and down. The market is bananas. I'm not going to do that. I was watching a YouTube video recently where I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about it was an economic type of video where they were talking about interest rates and the banks closing recently in Silicon Valley and the impact, and there's a lot of negative news and that type of thing. But the one thing that made me think about this is that the person that was speaking was saying that the National Association of Realtors and the mortgage associations were basically super optimistic that interest rates were going to be in the fives later on this year, and right now they're in the mid sixes. Depending on what you're trying to do. Lower, it'd be under 6 if you do a 15-year note, which is what I usually recommend for everybody anyway. A short-term mortgage, I think, is a smarter play because you pay less interest. But the point is that the person, the commentator, was criticizing National Association of Realtors and mortgage folks for being way too optimistic about what is happening in the economy, and they were kind of a little bit of doom and gloom. Although they said long term will be okay, but short term looks a little wonky. And it made me think about, I don't want to be that person for you guys. Like my goal is to be as straightforward and interpret the numbers. And based on what I'm seeing right now, it's a very average looking market. I'm not going to tell you, hey, oh my God, it's the best time to buy, best time to sell. It's only the best time to buy or sell if you are interested in buying or selling, right? The best time to buy probably was about 3-4 years ago. And I think probably 4 or 5 years from now, we'll say, well, the best time to buy in the last 5 years was today. But, it depends on what you're comparing it to. And of course, the best time to sell would have been about 12 months ago. And it's still an okay time to buy, and it's an okay time to sell. It's not the worst time in the world to buy and sell. We know that people are moving in our direction. And the case in point is I'd like for everybody to put it in the chat whenever you're watching this. I'm doing this live, obviously, but whenever you're watching this, and most of the people watch in the next 24, 48 hours, where are you? Where are you located? What's your temperature? And that will tell you why people move here. Because right now it feels like about 80 degrees here. It's beautiful, a few clouds in the sky, but it's gorgeous out. It's gorgeous. And it's a great beach weather. And of course it's spring break, and it's the perfect time of year. It's starting to get warmish. but it's a great time of year to be here. And that's the reason why one of the reasons why people move in our direction is because of that, for sure. And some other reasons as well that we've talked about before. But, we are in a place where people are moving in our direction. They're not moving out of our direction. So I think long term, we're going to be in pretty good shape, even though short term, it's a little wonky. Prices have come down a bit, which we're going to look at right now. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening in the market. One thing I will tell you that if you do have questions, you can connect with me at 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796 if you have questions about real estate. Even if you're not buying in our area, I'm actually a broker in Florida, so I understand Florida law. I recently had someone call me from New Jersey and had a question about renting out a place in West Palm Beach, and they knew I was in Florida and had a question, needed some advice, and I don't mind doing that at all, free of charge. And of course, remember, we also do property management and rentals. Okay, so as I was talking about before, you can see right here, 55 new listings, 45 pending in the last 7 days. So literally, we're going to go into MLS. You're going to take a search with me. I'm going to go on a journey. So here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to put in the villages. Part of the villages is Lady Lake. And I have to put in, let me erase this because it's not correct. Back up a little bit, right? And please subscribe, by the way. If you haven't subscribed already, that would be nice. And like the video. That's a good thing for YouTube. Likes to see those types of things. So in the villages, right, 364 properties, and that has been going up. And we've talked about it before. We're probably heading towards 400 plus, more and more inventory. And as we're seeing more and more inventory, price that does affect pricing, of course. Okay, but now we're going to say 200 to 400. That's going to give us 173 properties. So that is essentially, that's almost half. That's about 45%, 40 something percent is the number of properties that are falling between 200 to 400. So there's a lot to choose from. If you're buying, it's great because you've got plenty of choice as opposed to a year to 2 years ago. You didn't have enough of a choice. So let's take a look at, let me move away from here and let's do this, 1 and 2. I'll just read this to you. Let me see if I want to make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. Okay. So what we're looking at right now is we are seeing a lot of properties that are available, and you're looking at 25 properties that are somewhere in that 204 to 269 range, right? That gives you an idea of what we're looking at there. Okay, so that tells you a little bit about what values are going for there. Let me eliminate myself out of this mix, and that way you can see, yes, perfect. So good. There we go. So you're seeing, mostly between 204 and 269, mostly you're going to be looking at manufactured housing, which is going to be on the east side of 441, right? That's going to be something that is going to be very commonplace. And let's take a look at this here. So let's open it up. And let's take a look at the next slide, which is going to be between 26 through 50, about 25 properties, 279 to 298. So you're seeing a little bit of a mix, right? Like this one, let's see, this one's on Tangerine Circle, and this one is also a manufactured home. This is also mobile. Here's a nice Laredo, which a Laredo is essentially about 1,100 square feet. So if you're looking for like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, I think it's really safe that you can find something between 270 and 300,000, right? That's kind of what we're seeing right now, where it was a struggle about a year ago. So prices have come down from, I'd say that home might have sold, let's take this particular colony, patio villa here, like a 3-2 colony. That's interesting. I didn't realize there was a 3-2. Really 2-2, even though it says 3-2 here. So 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and 1,186 square feet. and you're looking at something that was built in 2003, newer roof, new HVAC, going for 279.9, 280,000. That probably would have gone for like 310 to 330, depending on how nice it is, that type of thing. About a year ago, exactly about a year ago. And about a year ago is about when the market started changing. Interest rates were going up dramatically. The record-setting pace of rising interest rates last year really affected the marketplace, which is what the Fed wanted to do, and they accomplished their goal. They slowed down the real estate market. The only difference is, the problem is that there's still a demand, and we're behind demand around the country. Here, not so much, because we have active building with the developer. That's still happening. But see here, 280,000, we're about $30,000 under. So that tells me about 10 to 15% reduction in pricing, right, from last year. That's an indication. And especially on the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, type of home, like the patio villas, or the small, like this one, like an Austin model here, that has 1,148 square feet, $285,000. I think a real value. Like, I think there's real value out there. This particular patio villa has been out there for a bit, 115 days, and I think there's also real opportunity around some of these properties that have been on the market for a lengthy period of time. And you can tell, like, some of these properties, 143 days, 133, 109, 112, 147, they've been on the market a bit, meaning there's one of two things happen. One, they started out too high, or they actually are too high. So either they're too high, period, or they started too high and they came down and finally came down to the right price. But now you're seeing longer days on market. So a lot of times buyers will think, oh, there's something wrong with it. I think there's real opportunity, as I've said before, real opportunity around making offers and looking at those properties with longer days on market, because we are seeing, if you start looking at the pending properties, and check out the video I did probably about 2-3 weeks ago, when we looked at the pending properties, those properties were selling and were going under contract under 12, 13 days, right? Because they were priced right and they look good. So if you want to sell fast as in 2 weeks, that's what you need to do. Now under $315,000. So you're noticing, like, most of the properties are in that 300 to 400 range, and there's looks like about 60 properties is what we're looking at that are going to be under 300,000. And it gives you an idea of what you can get. Let me give you an idea, something different here. Like, most of the homes that we've been looking at so far, either mobile homes or patios or small ranches, right? About 1,100 square feet, but this is a little bit different now. 315 going at 1,300 square feet is a little bit different, right? Like, there's a looks like this one is actually turnkey or pretty close to it, looking for investors only. So I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Let's see on the inside if this is furnished. Yeah, it looks like it's ready to go. Yeah, it looks like there's furniture in there. So maybe for a renter, or somebody that's looking for, they want to buy a home and rent it out, right? But now you're starting to see a little bit of a difference. You were looking for something a little bit larger in the ranch style. It's like 315 and up, just like this one here, almost 1,400 square feet. This is an Amarillo. This is a basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath, very popular model in the villages on Maple Song. 80 days on market, 324, right? 324.9. Now, to my point before, this one was 332 and now has gone down to 324.9, right? So price reduction because they weren't selling, and now it's at this price. This probably would have been about 350, right, about a year ago. So that tells you where the market has gone. Okay, let's now continue. Let's see what the next level up, when we're talking about under 400,000. What's the next level up? Let's see when we can find. Let's look at this on Pond Circle, 1,400 square feet. This is in Chatham, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm not sure what model this is, but 1,400 square feet, and so it's a little bit bigger, almost 15 at 330. So Chatham is north of 466 for those that would be interested and curious. That tells you again, okay, now you can find something a little bit more spacious, under 350. And let's see, there's another one here on Flint Loop, 1459, right? This is actually a tall pine model. This has been a little bit newer. This will probably still have a bond left on it, CDD bond. So look at that, 2019 is when it was built, 339. I think a pretty good value. Like I'm looking at that, I was like, wow, that's a pretty good value based on what we've seen in the past. So I think there's some opportunity here. Let's look at, let's see, let's take the next step up, 1,600 square feet now at 359. And now the sellers will give a $5,000 credit towards closing costs. So you're getting folks, you're getting sellers that are motivated because they've been sitting on the market a little bit, right? That's what we're seeing here, 107 days on the market. There's some of that going on, right? 359 on Yondell Circle. So that I think is, we're seeing really good value under that 400 mark for sure. And you're going to see value above 400. We'll probably do that next week, everything above 400. But, for now, under 400, some pretty good value, some real good value here. Let's look at the next level. Let's see if we can find something that's over here, 1,700 square feet. This is going to be closer to Spanish Springs in the Costa Mesa area. Now there's owner financing available. And I did a YouTube shorts on this about some of the options that you might have available, like owner financing is an option, but also, you may want to consider that as a seller or consider that as a buyer. You can probably save some money on the owner financing. And if the terms are attractive, makes it smart. And I also talked about assumable mortgages. That's a real play to look at, whether you're buying or selling. You could really get a good deal, especially if you're doing financing and find an owner that has an assumable mortgage. I think that's really, really smart. So 369.9, 70 days on market. And let's see the price. What was the price when it started? Let's take a look, 410 to my point. So a little bit, I think people have to, if you're selling your home in the Villages, be careful about chasing the market, because you're not helping yourself. And I know that this is a large investment and people don't want to lose money, but you end up losing money. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but you end up losing money if you're just keeping your home on the market longer than it should. So price it as well as you can in the beginning. 379, this looks like a really good deal, 1921 square feet. This is a Camellia, right? This is actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And what's interesting is that this particular property, I wonder if there is a closet. I wonder if there's a closet in the 3rd bedroom, because that happens a lot. Let me see if there's anything that says that. Don't say it. And I haven't been in this property, so I don't know. We've been having some issues with, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and people it's really a 2-bedroom. With no closet, so it's a little bit of it can be a distraction, but typically, and it does say that this 3-2 with this 2-bedroom with a den can be an issue, right? But they're typically 3 bedrooms. That's the way the developer actually advertises it, as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. But remember the Camellia and the Gardenia models, and I think there's a couple of other models as well that don't have a closet in one of the bedrooms. So just FYI, just watch out for that. 379, 39 days on the market. That's like a really good value. That's a really good value right now in the Villages. And let's see, let's look at one more thing. And you can get a Camellia for under 400,000. That's great. That's a good value. Here's something a little bit larger, right at 399. And this is obviously in Springdale, a little bit older, 2002, 100 days on market. And you're going to get a little bit better. You're going to get a better deal in Marion County. And the further north that you go, further away from the new construction, you'll get a better deal. So that's something to really look at. But this gives you an idea of what you can get right now for under 400. It's kind of like around the world in like 10 minutes is basically what we did. So keep that in mind. If you have questions, let me know. You can connect with me at 352-572-3796 for the price. Let's see, Mr. Gray. They're asking you would expect an updated home with a newer roof, but in many instances, it's not the case yet. I mean, some cases that's correct. I am noticing a little bit of both, right? I don't know that we can categorize everything to be like, okay, for the price, nobody's updating anything. I think what's happened, especially with the insurance issues, we're noticing more people update their homes, needing to update their homes before they sell it, because buyers won't be able to get insurance if the roof is not up to date, right? If it's not, at least newer than 15 years, right? So that's a thing to look at. And of course, do your due diligence, get your inspections done, and make sure you're buying the right house. And the folks here at Realty Executives, that's our goal. I talk about it a lot during our meetings, to really help the public, be on the side of the public, have empathy for the public, and do the best we can to serve you. But feel free to connect. Happy Friday, everybody. Let me know where you're from and what the weather was like, because when I left New Jersey, New York, it was snowing earlier on this week. And I was so happy to be back in sunny Florida. But please connect. We'll talk soon. Take care.